and welcome back to Short Film Saturdays. My name is Nasaida Sanders. I'm the Community Outreach Manager at Soleil Space. I am super excited to be back representing Soleil Space and showing you all amazing films. We have another two super crazy, super cool films to show you all today. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Soleil. We are a media company based in Brooklyn, New York, and our mission is to achieve a more equitable and representative global film and television landscape. Our focus is on the global diasporas of Asia, Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, and the Middle East, with goals of forming closer transcultural community bonds and providing opportunities and resources for our creators to produce premium world-class content. We aim to uplift underrepresented voices from these regions that are not often seen, authentically represented in the global mainstream media, and there's no better way to do that than with short films. Shorts are often the purest form of artistic expression and often, though not always, executed within the boundaries of smaller production budgets. Since launching Short Film Saturdays in late summer of 2021, we have featured 83 films from 96 filmmakers in 44 countries to date. Wow, we're adding to those numbers today. But another piece of news, Soleil Space has just launched the next very exciting phase of our content ecosystem. Soleil Space has launched the world's first truly global community streaming platform. And this is bringing unprecedented technology and innovation to the streaming space. Exciting! Soleil Space is a first for global creators of color and the only cross-cultural destination exclusively dedicated to the content of the global South diasporas. The platform allows filmmakers to independently monetize their content, build their micro-communities, and interact directly with their intended audiences. It elevates creators alongside their content through a cinematic tour around the globe. And as a special gift to our Short Film Saturday viewers, we are offering the first 2 months on the platform free. You can use code SFS60APR15 on soleilspace.com to use your free trial. The code is only valid for the next 2 weeks, so you have to hurry up and sign up now. The code is in the description below and in the chat. And I'm going to say it 12 more times today, so don't worry about it. But now, let me introduce our amazing guest. We are here with Alfredo Hueck. He is a Soleil Space filmmaker. Let me tell you all about his filmmaking journey. In 2004, Alfredo makes his entrance into the cinema scene with his first fiction short, YBI 173. The movie got significant recognition in Venezuela, where he's from, winning several awards locally, as well as Best Latin American Short Film in Spain at the TVE Spanish version competition. The international success of his first short allowed him to shoot another fiction short in Spain, Enamorate, Fall in Love. And in 2007, he started directing one of 2 45-minute short films that make up the movie block selected at the Sao Paulo Film Festival. He also won TNT's reality show, Project 48, in 2008, and filmed his latest short, Quédate, Stay, which was televised for all of Latin America. In 2013, he wrote with his brother the highest-grossing film in the history of Venezuelan cinema, PAPITA MANÍ TOSTÓN, and he shot his shorts Guárdame Puesto, Save Me a Spot, and La Dama de Blanco, Lady in White, both selected at the New Filmmakers Festival in Los Angeles. He worked in the creative department at NBC Telemundo until Sony Pictures hired him in 2019 to direct his first TV series, the romantic comedy Manual para Galanes. And from 2020 until 2022, he directed the dramedy series La Suerte de Loli and La Mujer de mi Vida for NBC Telemundo. So many things! Currently, he is writing his 3rd feature film, the grand premiere, and looking forward to producing TV pilots while post-producing his 2nd feature film, Vuelve la Vida. Wow, that is a lot of stuff, a lot of accolades. That is amazing. And both the films that we're watching today of Alfredo's are available to watch on the Soleil Space community streaming platform. So if you want to watch them again, which I know you will, you could check them out there. But first, Alfredo, please tell us a bit about the films we're going to be watching today.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. I'm really excited to practice my English with you guys and to be here to showing my short films. I feel flattered, honor. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
So
But we are so happy to have you. Super excited to be watching these really cool films, and definitely even more excited to be talking about them afterwards. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to watch the films now, but afterwards, once those credits start rolling, do not go anywhere. We have to dive in. We're going to be talking about these films with Alfredo, getting all of our questions answered. And at the end of that, we are taking audience questions. So if you have a question that as soon as you see the film, you're like, oh my God, I have to ask it, you can. And you should. Please do ask your questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is YouTube. You guys know I have to say it. And with that, enjoy the films. Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back. That was a wild ride. Thank you, everyone, for showing up in the comments. I saw you all there enjoying. That is so, so great. Well, we only seen one of Alfredo's films today, but both of them, the one that we were able to see and the one that we weren't able to see, unfortunately, are available on the Soleil Space community streaming platform. So if you joined late today, or if you're currently just watching the posted Q&A after, please go to soleilspace.com to watch these films. You can use code SFS60APR15 on soleilspace.com for a free 2 months on the platform. And the code is only valid for the next 2 weeks. So you gotta hurry up and sign up now. Alrighty? With that, definitely want to dive in and ask some questions to our lovely guest today, Alfredo Hook. I did mispronounce his last name in the beginning. Do not repeat what I said, guys. It is Alfredo Hook. So first, I am going to ask a few questions about La Dama de Blanco. Not as many. We want to mostly ask about País Improvisto, but still, because we missed watching it together, can you give us a quick synopsis of what happens in La Dama de Blanco?
Well, in La Dama de Blanco, Lady in White, that's like a urban legend, from every town, in every country in the planet. There is like a urban legends, and this is not different from that. And it's supposed in this in the little town, it's like 3 hours from the capital, and it's supposed to be like a legend that it was an accident so many years ago, and something happened with this lady showing up after she's dead and like jumping into the cars and provoking so many accidents stuff. Besides the legend, it's like there is that bad condition in the roads in Venezuela. It made like a lot of deadly accident in that area in Venezuela. So I used to, when I was young, I was 20 on my 20s, and I always go from the capital, from Caracas. I always went to party and went, to holidays. We went to that little town, and we were like late night, and like always like in party, and we know, let's go back, like really. And young people, please don't do it. Don't drive. Don't drunk and drive. Don't don't drink and drive. And well, at that point of my life, we usually we never took anything that serious. And what I did from the short film was I put together a lot of travels that we did when we were young. So everything that happened, it kind of happened like I was falling asleep, and then we pulled down to a little chapel in the highway, and then a police wake up like, what are you doing here? Like, this is way too dangerous. Like, and I told him like, no, I need to. I think it was going to be. I thought I was at that point. I was doing something responsible because I wasn't driving. So he told me like, no, you shouldn't stop here. Like never, like never. So this is way too dangerous. So it's a shame. Sorry about that you guys didn't enjoy that short film. Something I'm gonna start calling the people who work for that short film, because I'm suspicion something happening with the rights on something.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry about that, but jumping to País Improvisto.
Yes.
Or something. You have more questions for later, because
I do have a few questions for the Dama de Blanco. So that's a very easy question. Did you see the lady in white when you were driving with your friends?
Well, I saw a lot of accident, and I knew people who died, and everybody's convinced that La Dama Blanco jumps into their car.
Boy.
When I didn't watch her, but I saw what it is in the short film that I was driving and I was falling asleep, and I found a way to wake me up.
Mhm.
That I'm not gonna spoil it to you, so you go to you go to Soleil and watch it. But I found a way to wake me up a little bit, like in the most irresponsible way. So in the middle of that road, I saw, and everybody saw. It wasn't only me. One of my best friends, he was in the co-pilot. He saw it as well, and people in the back seat. Everybody saw it. We saw it was, I don't know, it was all dark at 3 in the morning, and suddenly it was like a huge, huge, like a flash, like a little, like a white frame, like a what was it? And I thought, somebody took a picture with flash. Like, no, it's like
Yeah.
there is nobody here. It's like it's the only nobody talk anymore. We were like really scared. My friend, he told me like, don't look to into the mirror. Please don't look at it, because if you watch it and you see her through the mirror,
Yeah.
we're gonna crash, and it's gonna be an accident. So please don't look. That's the only difference. What I did is that one where we survive in the real world. We survive.
Yeah.
We were scary. Like, oh my God. I actually, after that, I never went back to that town in Venezuela.
Wow.
until I shot that short film.
So you shot it in the same place where it really happened for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody was like freaking out, like, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah.
And I said, I don't know, let's get out of here. I was like, I don't want to be doing this like in here, like
everything in one take. Gotta get out of here, guys.
Yeah. Everybody was, yeah, let's get out of here. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
So it was
so
a really
crazy.
We were like, it was a short film crew. We were, I don't know, 15, 20. Yeah, we were like 15 people working on that. And it was really a fun time for me to do it, because it was like a huge opportunity to do something right before I leave my country, Venezuela. That was the last one that I did in Venezuela.
Yes. And
Short
so I
film,
know
because
the post-production happened in the United States, correct?
Yeah. I re-edit because some people in Venezuela, they did the first editing, and I didn't like it. It was like, I don't know, 30 minutes long, and it was like insanely badly way too long. And I say, no, I need to re-edit this, because 30 minutes, it doesn't have any sense. So I cut it down, and I did a 60-minute version that is way better. It's better. That's what I love it. And I did everything here. I redid the sound design, the effects, the color correction. I did everything again here in Miami. So actually, that's one of the people that I'm gonna call, because I don't know, something weird happened today with a YouTube, right? So
yeah,
I'm gonna start doing some phone calls.
Yeah,
to, hey, what's going on?
Phone calls to make. Very, very cool. Okay, so with that, let's hop over to País Improvisto. That was a crazy ride. There's so much to ask. But first, the content of País Improvisto. These are all true things that were actually said by politicians in Venezuela. But for those who aren't in Venezuela, who aren't anywhere near Venezuela, can you please give some context to politically what was going on at the time? When was this? What was going on? Why were they saying such, outrageous things?
Yeah, like I said, yeah, of course, my first influence is Venezuelan politics, because I'm from Venezuela, and that's what I had to suffer had to escape from that situation.
Mm.
You know, it's a lot of corruption and absurd is ambitious power. You know, is it's like all that you feel. You know that I like the short film because I think I did transmit, you know, that feeling that I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this show. I'm not enjoying this moment. So that happened to me when I lived there because I saw so many abuse of power. I think that's the short thing about it is abuse of power. You know, changing the rules, whatever they want. They don't care about anybody. They give you the finger anytime, you know, like in your face. And they say this stuff that actually, at some point, the president of Venezuela, he was, well, president, the dictator, whatever you call it, like those people who are like 25 years ago, I think they stole my country. They were reading, like doing like, okay, we are doing like a free speech. I can read everything. And he was on TV, national TV network and broadcasting on national TV. And he started reading the tweets that sending to him. And somebody for real, he tweeted like, chúpalo Maduro. And chúpalo is like a suck my beep, suck my, and he actually read it out loud, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it's so insane. And if you go to YouTube and search for the actual stuff, he actually did it. So it's not my imagination. What I did was like, okay, I had to tell this story like in a different way, like in a satirical tale, you know. So the improvisation show, there is kind of a show that I really like to go, you know, like improvise, the improv.
Yeah.
You know, and it works like that. You write down and you put it like in a little hat, and they go in, take it out, and they improvise a show and the act, depending of the paper, you know, the audience wrote.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I was like, okay, maybe this could be like a good way to represent my frustration and everything that I feel that happened with all the hardworking people in Venezuela. You know, people just want to live in peace. Everybody wants to work in peace, and you know the economic, you work so you can live, you know, with all the basics you need, without all the struggle. You know, without Venezuela is my country. For you people, maybe there are not from there. Change everything, like every month is different because some month is so changing and not for better. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes better, sometimes it's missing, you know. At that point there is no electricity, or there is no internet, there is no water, you know. You have to go and you can buy certain stuff only specific days of the week. That was years ago. I don't know. I think that's not anymore, but sometimes it's missing. You know, oh, there is no internet, there is no power, there is no something is really happening. So it's it's like a constant struggle to live like that. That's what I moved. That's what I moved to the US, and I've been here 12 years now. Yeah, actually, yeah. This Friday, I'm gonna be. Yeah, I was 12 years. Wow. And I start feeling that all that abuse of power and insane in politics, I don't care. I really don't care about which bands you are, if you're a Democrat or Republican, whatever, you know. I think everything, the manipulation of masses and that what's going on here in the politics in this country that is supposed to be the first world. And that's why we came like, let's go to a first world, you know, like. Of course, Miami, for me, Miami is still like it's not the US. It's really close to the US, but that's maybe what I like because it's a lot of Latin American people down here. but still here, well, I still see some abuse of power in New York or in California, and you know, in the politics in all the country. So I feel that it's not it's kind of, it's not a warning, because a surfing is not like a warning, but how can you say, it's like a, it's not, I feel it's not that far away anymore. You know, at some point maybe you guys, like, we don't understand what's going on in Latin America because that's too far from us. That doesn't happen here. But I feel that is starting happening here in the US.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's like a, well, it's gonna be a warning. Like, it's like a watch out, because I think politicians, whatever they want, nobody cares about anything. You know, they only, I think they really don't care about us.
No, truly.
Like the song.
Hard agree. And definitely that's the good thing about your film, but also I guess the unfortunate side of it is that this is definitely something that anyone can relate to. Unfortunately, I cannot think of a single government anywhere that's just like, everything's fantastic and they're telling the truth 100% and they're great to people, you know, like, and everyone anywhere can see this and go, oh no, there's definitely some aspects of this that I see wherever I am, right? So that is very interesting. So the film has plenty of symbolism. Why did you choose to represent everything that was going on in the political scene through a circus specifically?
Well, of course, the circus, actually, I was laughing because in the chat earlier, when we were watching the short film, people commenting that they don't trust clowns. And I say, well, I understand why they don't trust clowns. You know, people, you know, paint, they don't show their real face and always making like a forced joke, la, 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 la. And so I can understand that. But even though there is a lot of clowns that are really, they do for a good cause. There is a hospital clowns, you know, they go to cheer up the kids in bad situation, health situation. So it's like not generalized, and I always say sorry for my. I have a lot of friends clowns. Actually, they do that for life. So,
really?
And I say I'm sorry. Yeah, and I say I'm sorry for that. But it's kind of representing. It's kind of representing that they are like a way to, we are different than you guys, because I need to paint them, I need to portray them like in a different way that the audience, because the people who enters is, you know, okay, there is an old lady always complaining about everything, there is another one, there's a couple, is, you know, I try to portray like different people. But and actually it's kind of curious, but I try to be in the audience to be from all Latin America. Is people from there is a Mexican people, there is a Peruvian, there is of course Venezuelan, there is a people from, you know, from Argentina, is from everywhere in the audience. But that's a really subtle. It's a really subtle stuff that audience is. Like I say, my influence is, of course, I did this because of Venezuelan politics, but I think it's the same kind of BS or situation, bad situation, all around all Latin America. And yeah, no, I'm even for Northern Latin America, we went, our world premiere was on Spain last year. And actually, we won audience award and a special mention from the jury. But what I was amazed, and sadly, like you said, people can relate wherever they are. You know, people from Spain, they were like, but you know, that what happened, that exactly happened here in politics in Spain. And I say, I had no idea. And I'm so sorry for you, because you know, people feel that frustration and abuse of power, and that everything, you know, the cheating, they can't trust the politics anywhere. So they were like a really amazed. And what I like of the surfing is that I think it brings discussion.
Yeah.
In some point, it brings some discussion, like what we can do as society, like try not to do the same mistakes that we did, but it's kind of difficult because how we can, like I'm just a filmmaker. How can I influence in some political, in the U.S. political way? Like, I don't like that candidate. You should go to another candidate. Like like it's hard. It's really hard, but
absolutely, I feel you.
Oh yeah.
So that does touch on my next question about how people reacted to the film. So we heard about it in Spain. What about in Latin America? How did Latin Americans react to the film, specifically Venezuelans, since they definitely saw it was a me like, I know exactly what that's about. What was the reaction like?
Yeah, well, actually, no, of course. Well, let me tell you that in the premiere that I did here in Miami, came people from Colombia, and they were really moved and shocked because, like I say, it's a feeling of impotence that they cannot really do anything about what's happening. And they feel that, especially in Colombia, is happening again, even though all the warning the Venezuelan people did, like, hey, don't vote for this candidate because they are gonna take, the political and economics the same way they destroy my country. But I think nobody learns watching somebody mistake. If somebody is gonna learn, they had to suffer in first person. I had to suffer like I don't know, it's like watching another people like, no, I'm not gonna do that until you are really in that, suffering that, struggling that. So people in Colombia, they were like shocked. And I went to a film festival in Austin, and it was really interesting because people from Chile, it came out, and they were like they feel it like I don't know, that the feeling is like it's not anxious, it's nervous, it's like it's impotent. It's impotent. Like what we can do, like don't vote again for the same people that that is gonna destroy, like I don't know, make better choices, like don't follow. Actually, there is one character and the short film that I love it is the one that he goes again to the same, that after all that trouble and everything, all this, he goes out, he cleans it, and he goes out. It's like a cycle, because in the beginning of the short film we see him like like the finishing, he stand up and he goes to the line, so it's like a cycle. So I think is at the very first moment we learn, and we don't go again and we don't applaud, because this character, I call him short memory, memoria corta, short memory, that he doesn't remember, like something happened, but you don't remember what happened last year. No, I don't care. And he's still like, dude, like a history repeats itself because people forget. Because people don't know what happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Like that happens, so don't do it again. We have to change. So that character, Memoria Corta, I like him because he's the only one, when when they make the finger, he's the only one who think is funny. Oh, that's crazy, and he laughs. Everybody is offended, but at some point it is like, why are you making the finger? Like, what's the point? And if you see, it's a little detail, the girl, the only kid that is in the first show, they escape, but when her mother, actually that is my sister, my little sister, and my nephew, and she was doing repeating when they're going out of when she decides, like, I'm out of here, she took the baby daughter, and when in the way out, she's repeating, that's what he learned. That's the legacy of the clown, that to be vulgar, to be obscene. So, and people laughing about that situation, I think that's the worst part of society. Like it's not time to laugh.
Yeah.
It's not, this is serious, it's not funny, it's not, it's not irrelevant, this is serious. We have to compromise. Absolutely. I always say, like, in my case, for Venezuela, I think my country, when people in Venezuela start behaving, or we are start behaving like we should, like the country we want to have, when we start behaving so well to have the country that we all gonna be proud of it, that's when change is gonna come. Nobody's gonna come from anywhere. No U.S. president is gonna come from anywhere to save Venezuela. No, that's not gonna happen ever. That's why the dictatorship, they're like doing whatever they want. But well, it's complicated.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my next question: why does the tent fall on them at the end? Why does everything come crashing down?
Well, that for me is I'm just looking for that exaggeration. I'm exaggerating. I'm going to extreme, like let's go to the extreme point from the situation. What's the word? Like a trap. And it's a way to me to say that they really don't care anything,
Yeah.
Actually, at some point, I didn't shoot it because I didn't have the time and the resources. But at some point, everything started like, cleaning the stage, and the dead bodies and whatever from the accident, and the little clown like cleaning the stage. That was at some point. I think in the script it's like that. But then it was like it's not necessary to show that. I think it was fine like it is. So I took it out from the script. I didn't even shot it, but I wanted to go like if it's a tale, that's why the explosion. I even thought when he's in the very ending, he's walking, and I say, let's have like explosion, whatever. Like it's like it's really it's like a disaster. Even though, you know what, my father always told me, like, a country never toca fondo, like a country never touch down, like the bottom.
Yeah.
They never touch it's bottomless. So a country always can be worse, for real. Like, in a society, always things can be worse.
Yeah.
So that's not really optimistic. But as a country always can be worse, but a country can always be better as well. So in this case, the explosion, a 10 falls up, is getting worse. It's worse every time. It's worse. Every time is, it's me taking, let's go to what's the extreme that we can get here in this short film.
Very nice.
That's why.
So the through line of today's films seem to be true stories, true events. Does all of your work center around true events, or did we just happen to pick out the two with true events?
Yeah, happened to me. True events mostly off of I think this is curious that you asked this, because I've been talking even with my therapist. Like, I think the film that I've done always since I was young, because I've done, I don't know, like 10 short films now and 2 feature films. And I think all of them, they are kind of therapeutic films for me, that I had to take out that impotence or that angry, that sentiment, that feeling that I had really deep inside of me, and my way to express it and to be in peace with myself is through films.
Mm.
So, of course, not all of them are really drama or intense. When I say this type of thing, but it's concerns and problems that I had. For example, with the situation of Venezuela, I did my very first feature film. It's a political satire as well, but that's really focused in Venezuela situation. This one, the shuffling, is more like a little more outside Venezuela. I think more people on comprehends, or understand or feel it more, get more identified.
Yeah.
More than the show, more than the feature film, because my feature film is more focused in Venezuela situation at that point.
Yeah.
But something inside me was, I'm not gonna be able to do anything else if I don't say something, because at some point, what I was suffer, it was free of speech. And what happened at that point, I used to live there, like I said, 12 years ago, and people was really afraid to say anything, because you don't say anything because they are gonna come for you. So it was really intense, situation in the government, that nobody can express what they think, what they thought, the planning. If you're not agree, you're enemy. So people start like getting quiet, like, no, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. And everybody know that nothing is fine.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and I say, I'm not gonna be one more of those filmmakers that don't say anything. So what I did for me, and I could sleep after, like, okay, now I'm calm, I'm in peace myself, because I say what I had to say. And at some point, I don't know, in history, Venezuela, whatever, I don't know, 50 years, 100 years, like, why nobody say anything about the situation in Venezuela, in pictures, films, whatever. No, there is a experimental film, whatever. There is like a weird film that they try to say something,
Yeah.
And
nice.
yes, of course, everything happened to me. Sorry?
I said, yeah, the power of films. Well, in the future, we'll get to look back and see, okay, this is how people at the time were feeling about things. That's very cool. So my next question for you, this is a very simple question. How has your experience on Soleil Space been so far?
Great. Actually, I really would like to have more free time to watch all of it that you have, because I'm learning, like watching, inviting people, like making the circle. It's really fun. I really enjoy the platform. It's really different. It's more friendly than I thought. But like I said, nowadays is really, I have to organize better to have more time to watch everything, because I have watched not as much as I like to.
No worries. Well, that's what the Soleil platform is there for. The films aren't going anywhere, so you can watch it today, you can watch it tomorrow, no worries. So with that, audience members, if you are enjoying today and you would like to tip Alfredo, you can do that on the Soleil Space platform. It is the perfect way to support indie filmmakers. So be sure to log on, shoot Alfredo a tip. You can DM him too. Shoot your shot. No, don't shoot your shot. He's married. But anyway, with that, I am opening up the floor to audience questions. Any of your burning questions about the films that we watched today, about Alfredo as a filmmaker himself, please do submit those now. And while they're typing out their questions, Alfredo, what is next for you? What projects should we be looking forward to?
Yeah, well, actually, I did. I'm about to premiere my next feature film that I co-direct and co-write with my big brother, with Luis. And I'm really excited about it, because once again, it's based on true story, on true events that happened in my family like 20 years ago.
Wow.
It's called Vuelve a la Vida. Vuelve a la Vida is kind of have your life back, something like that, or back to life. and I'm really excited. It's not a political satire; it's a dramedy, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really, I'm waiting. I'm counting any second, any minute to be the film ready and ready to show everybody because it's my favorite. It's my favorite film. Is I'm really really proud of it, and I think it's gonna be a universal story because it's a family story. Even though we're from Venezuela, what happens to us is it's a crisis on one of the members in the family, and the union of the family and a good sense of humor, how important it is to be there, you know, for the needy time. So for that's for that project. Of course, my brother and I are still like wanted to do more films, of course, and trying to sell and creative stories for TV shows, series, and films.
Wow.
But for now, I'm writing another feature film. Maybe I'm gonna do here in Miami. But yeah, meanwhile, I'm gonna premiere on December. It's gonna be ready. Vuelve la vida. I'm gonna. I hope when here into December, I have my next script done. So people, if somebody is asking like, hey, "What's your next one?" I'd like to invest on your films. Here it is. Here's my next script.
Awesome, amazing. And how can audience members keep up with you? Is it through Instagram, Twitter, a website? How should they keep up with you and see what's going on?
Yeah, my Instagram. I think nowadays Instagram, I think, is the best and faster way to to keep in touch. Well, I have my channel in YouTube as well. It's my name, and on Instagram is my last name is Hook, Hueck. I was the first one on Instagram with my family. So
yeah, that's really cool.
I
Actually,
did
that you
it.
got
I
that.
did it. Yeah, I did it like really fast when I saw. Okay, I like that. Remember Instagram when it was like only for people taking pictures of their food
Yeah.
of that we're eating.
Awesome. So now we are going to take a look at those audience questions. Thank you so much for submitting. So from our friend Shreya, we have for País Improvisto, what was the significance of separating the kids at the end before that second act began?
Well, that was a news for me. Like, remember thinking politicians, and what I remember like a really sad moment that happened here in the U.S. The immigrants, they were crossing, they were crossing in the border, and here they separate the kids from their parents.
Yeah.
So I think that was really awful stuff. And actually, I do believe that a lot of parents, because they separate them and send them to different cities and facilities from immigration, the U.S. immigration, and they haven't reunited yet. And a lot of people get lost, so they separate them, and they don't know where the parents are right now. So it's a really crisis situation. It's really, at some point in the short film, I wanted to add, because there is news that children were like they were treated like dogs, like animals, literally, and they were put on cages, on cage, like, and there is footage. I saw it like on TV, and I was like, what's going on? It's insane. So my thing is, for the very ending, okay, this is a political situation, and the end is now in English. The show it says, País Improvisto now in English. So I think it's like the show is here, so I'm referring to stuff that's happening here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put the cage You know, because at some point, I think in the script, I was like, the clown separate the kids and put them into the cages.
Mhm.
But I didn't want it with my team. Actually, my DP and my art director, they told me like, I think that's too much, and
Yeah.
I think that we like the subtle, you know, the subtle way that we were doing, that you are doing everything. All
Yeah.
the shuffling is like in a subtle way.
Yeah.
I was agree with them. I say, yeah, maybe that's right. And I think I'm glad I did. I followed them because I think it's perfect. I think it's not necessary. It's not necessary to show, you know, like imagine like putting the kids into the cage right now. They were like, what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was sadly a situation that happened here.
Yeah.
I think it was on in 2018. I think it was 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
You know what? This situation happened with the immigrants and they separate families.
Yeah.
That was my 2 cents. Okay, this is this is for you, US.
Wow. No, very good. So we have a question from Quinn. Alfredo, I love your filmmaking style. How long did it take for you to decide your own style behind how you make your films?
Well, thank you. Thank you for the piropo. How you say that in? I don't know how to say that in English.
What was the
Well,
word?
my style, I don't know.
A
It's
second. Never mind. Go
piropo.
ahead.
No, I think that for style, I think it's more like a more than visual style. It's more like a mood
Mm.
style. You know, if you watch my short film and my feature film, you're always gonna start feeling in some ways that I want you to react. You know, like
Mm.
it's not it's not to be. Of course, I love sarcasm. I love, you know, satirical. I know irony. I love that kind of humor of the black dark humor.
Mhm.
I love that, and I think País Improvisto is full of it. It's really dark humor.
Mhm.
Um, and the style, well, I just don't know. Is I think it depends of the film, the story that I'm gonna tell. I think I change, you know, because I'm not gonna be able to do the same everything. It depends, because believe it or not, I have saved me a spot that is available on Soleil as well. It's a romantic comedy,
Mhm.
so it's way too different. But
Yeah.
even though it's different visually, it still has the little details, you know. It has a little details that make you think a little bit like, what's going on here.
Mhm.
So that's what I look. What I always try as filmmaker is to to make the audience think a little bit,
Yes.
to think, you know, to use your imagination, to like, what are these guys trying to tell me? Like,
Mhm.
I don't like when you show me like really like in front, or like really in front, like, here it is.
Yeah.
What I have to say, like, I like the films, and my films that I want to show, that I want to do, is like to make people use their brains, you
Yeah.
know, like, okay, let me think a little bit. Not like
Yeah.
a Nolan, in a Nolan way. Christopher Nolan is like
Mhm.
way, like, I have to, okay, wait a minute, like that's way too much for me.
Yeah.
But in a little way, like, I really like to people to think about it, to, you know, to make question to what he doesn't mean with this.
Yeah.
Because remember, I believe that in films anything is for free. You
Mhm.
know, when you make a film, everything has a reason to be there.
Yeah.
Everything, every detail, every word, everything has a detail. There is a really nice detail in País Improvisto, for example, that I love.
Mhm.
Because this is good that I bring this up, because we shot it in 3 days. The very first 2 days of País Improvisto,
Wow.
Yeah. What is too many or too?
It's so for everything you accomplished. 3 days sounds like 30 minutes. It's insane that you were able to do all of that in just 3 days. That's super cool.
Well, there is low budget, so I don't have more money to to keep doing. But the very first 2 days, I was took advantage of the location and all the extras and people, So
Yeah.
I did all the big, all the tent falling up, the people outside of the street, the big shot, the wider, where you
Yeah.
can see the struggle, the people. So I did all of those, and then I was like jumping. Okay, the close-ups, the people I was reading, the close-up people, like, was terrifying. We did it a year later because yeah, the third day I was okay. Let's finish. We didn't have enough time to do the close-ups and all the details. So what I did is I edit, and I told the DP and I told everybody, like, you know what? Let me wait. Let's wait to see if I can tell the short film, the story, without doing the close-ups. And because we shot it on 4K, I was like reframing a little bit, getting close of the framing, whatever. But no, when I edited, I told her, like, no, I need my close-ups and I need the details. It's the story need to get in really, really close-ups.
Yeah.
So 1 year later, because at that point I used to live in Miami, then I moved to Bogota, to Colombia, for a project, and then I came back to Miami. So when I came back to Miami 1 year later, they told me, everybody, okay, what happened with the short film? And I told them, like, let's do one more day of close-ups and details. So I did a really huge close-ups, and my DP did a fantastic job matching it, because they were like a different camera, different moment, different, different.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank God that the actor was available.
Yeah, wow.
The actor was available. Yeah.
Well, I did not notice it. It came
It
out
was,
seamless.
yeah. So all the close-up was shot 1 year later, and the close-ups. There is one close-up that I really wanted to do. Is the one that, when they kill one of them, and the girlfriend goes into the stage and she starts like trying to stop the bleeding with the paper, a photocopy of the paper of the hand with a finger. She's trying to clean it, and that detail for me is so powerful, and I'm so proud of it, because I say, this is it. It's like is the government, yeah, like make you the finger, and you are cleaning your death and your struggle, everything. You're cleaning your dead life, whatever, with all of them, that they don't care about anything. They just don't care if everybody dies. Well, that's not my problem.
Seriously, yeah.
So those details, I'm really grateful that we had a chance to do it.
Yeah. Very cool. Alrighty, so we have a lot of audience questions, and unfortunately, we cannot answer them all. I'm going to take one final question. This one is from Film Lover. When crafting these stories, what filmmakers inspire you?
I love filmmakers, like I was saying. I like to use my imagination, even though I enjoy like the real realistic films. Like a really proper that we live, the struggle that we live. I like to go to a film to use my imagination, and they travel. I love Star Wars, for example, like Back to the Future. Like really use my imagination to push my imagination. So one of the filmmakers that um, they always inspire me to do that kind of stuff is Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam is for me, even though right before I started studying filmmaking, I I notice and I feel that his films move me, and they attach on my brain, like, oh my god, that those universe that he's capable of create is amazing. It's amazing. So Terry Gilliam, I think, is one of my best like influence. Buñuel, I think about the classic, the Luis Buñuel, the surrealism, and he's really sarcastic. I love the sarcastic and the irony that he always doing, and like the surrealism that he made on his film. Buñuel, he's always inspiring me forever. And the latest filmmakers, like right now, like not all filmmakers. Well, I love, of course, Steven Spielberg, all this commercial, but Martin McDonagh, for example. Martin McDonagh, he's the one right now that I'm like amazed what he's doing.
Yeah.
The films that he's doing is always like I have to rewatch it. Rewatch it.
Absolutely.
And that's another stuff that I would like to be that kind of filmmaker that people need to. I need to rewatch the film again so we can get more details of more of the details that I have done. So that's for me, that's the best that you can say. I'm gonna rewatch your film, not because I didn't understand, if because I wanna see more.
Yeah.
I wanna discover more stuff.
Totally.
So that's what I would like at some point of my life. I like to be.
Very nice. Awesome. To learn more all about Alfredo's stories, you can check out his Meet the Director video on the Soleil Space platform. It's a video in depth into all things Alfredo, and both of the films that we would have watched today are on the Soleil. Well, one and they're on the Soleil Space platforms. You can watch them there literally right now if you would like to give these films a rewatch. And as a special gift to our Short Film Saturday viewers, we're offering the first 2 months on the platform free. Use code SFS60APR15 on soleilspace.com to use your free trial. And this code is only valid for the next 2 weeks, so you gotta hurry up and sign up now. The code is also in the chat, so you can copy and paste it. Next week, we are on with 2 more Soleil Space filmmakers, Mauricio Saez-Canovas and Edwin Franco. We were supposed to have them on for April 1st, but due to technical difficulties, they weren't able to join us. But don't worry, it's back on. Next week, we get to chat with these 2 super cool filmmakers as well. Big thank you to Alfredo Hook for joining us today, for talking to us about his super cool films, for engaging with us. We are super happy to have you. And that's all we got for you. We'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.